The Vampire Stream. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. Welcome to the Vampire Stream. Smash the like button. I don't know how long I'm gonna go, but we got some things to talk about on the Vampire Stream. Let's start with Jeff Hearn. So Jeff Hearn did an interview with the Courier Mail, and he said Las Vegas was amazing experience, but I did a lot wrong, referring to the Terrence Crawford fight. He says, I know I could do a lot better. I could fight a lot better than I did against Terrence Crawford. Crawford was able to outbox me on the back foot, but I've learned from that not to rush. It's frustrating to be out of a world title shot picture and to have that KO loss against my name. It was my first loss since I was at the Olympics 6 years ago. I'm still getting over it. There's no better remedy, though, than to come back with a big win. To get back on the world stage, I have to beat Mundane as well. I guess he's fighting Anthony Mundine. I would love to fight Terrence Crawford again in my backyard, and it might be a different story next time. So, my thoughts is this. It ain't gonna be different. Like, see, this is the problem with boxing. Okay. Just like Canelo. Canelo's doing well for himself since post-Mayweather loss. You know, he's learned. I'll give him that. But you got fans who are saying Floyd should move up to 160 to rematch Canelo and appease him. So why does Floyd, who convincingly beat Canelo, got to test himself and give Canelo a weight advantage instead of Canelo, the younger fighter, moving back down, move to 54 or something? You know, you have Jeff Hearn, who was knocked out by Terrence Crawford, and he's talking about we should do a rematch in my backyard. Where they do this at, man? Like, what? And then when it be Anthony Joshua or something, y'all quick to bring up this A-side stuff. Oh, no. He's the A-side. He's the A-side over Wilder. What is Jeff Hearn talking about? Why would Crawford? Yeah, it'd be different because I thought Pacquiao beat Jeff Hearn. So, you know, who knows what them Australian judges see over there. This is getting, you guys got to stop the foolishness. Real talk. Please. Stop the foolishness. Talking about it'll be different in the rematch. Why would a guy rematch you on your home turf and he already beat you by stoppage? It makes no sense. And then you're fighting Anthony Mundine, who got pieced up by Josh Clottey. I think he got knocked down like 5 times. You know, he beat Shane Mosley when he was old, who couldn't continue because he had back spasms. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't get you back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point where you're anyone's A-side. Shout out Ego, man. I'm watching from college. Get that education. Shout out to you. This is the Vampire Stream. Make sure y'all smash the like button. Is that the same guy? Hold on. Shout out to... Oh, you watching from college in the UK. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to the UK. We're going to talk about the UK's most popular fighter, too. Anthony Joshua. On the Vampire Stream. Jeff's Corner didn't know what they could do against a superior fighter. They were giving motivational advice. See, I was at the fight, so I never watched it on TV, so I don't know their advice. But yeah, it ain't gonna be different in no rematch. Like, I think he lost every round. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, no one has no interest in that fight. Jeff, I mean, I hate to be, you know, the bearer of bad news, but Jeff Hearn was a one-hit wonder. You know, Beat Pacquiao. I didn't even think he did, but you know, he did much better than people expected. They gave him the win. You know, they said he won. So cool. He got to live like a champion for, you know, a fight. Then he stepped up with some of the skills of Crawford. And see, this is why it wouldn't be different. Crawford moved up from 140 where he was undisputed. He moved up 7 pounds and pieced you up. So he's about to fight Benavidez. If he gets past him, I mean, his confidence is only going to keep growing as a welterweight. You know, he already has confidence as a fighter. So why the fuck, you know, if he beat you his first fight at the division, moving up 7 pounds, imagine if he beat you by stoppage, then fights Jose Benavidez, beats him hypothetically, and then fights you. You know, come on. Nobody's trying to see that. You didn't do enough in the first fight. Jeff Horn would have to beat Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, you know, Sean Porter, something like that, and become a champion again to warrant a rematch. Maybe even a Danny Garcia. Well, I'm not no fucking Anthony Mundine, so I never want to hear this subject again about a Crawford-Horn rematch unless Jeff Horn is fighting somebody that I just mentioned and beating them. So that's that. Wilder Fury press tour is getting ready to start soon. LA has pretty much all but been confirmed from Premier Boxing Champs. That is happening in Los Angeles Staples Center. I like that, man. That's the venue where Vitaly Klitschko fought Lennox Lewis. They put on a classic. You know, those were 2 Goliath-sized heavyweights. I really don't remember any other Staples Center main events, you know, that consisted of heavyweights. Yeah, I'm planning on going to the fight. Hell yeah. We were talking about it in Callie's live stream, and he booked his room. Yeah, that's smart. You got to book early, you know, because closer to it, they hike the prices up. Because the way, like, hotels.com and all this shit, they don't know what's going on yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's like you almost catch the hotel slipping. You know, they don't know what's going to be in town and all that. You know what I'm saying? So you do it right now, because by the time, like let's say you book let's say it's in Vegas in September, and you book a room for Canelo Golovkin too, right? They might not immediately know what you go to Excalibur or wherever you guys book. They might not know Canelo Triple G's gonna be in town and there's a big fight weekend. But closer to the actual fight, they'll know. Just like Wilder Fury. So you have to kind of catch the hotels when they slipping before it becomes public knowledge. Because they will hike them prices up. The Vampire Stream. We just working, people. Make sure you guys give a like, smash the like button. Oh my gosh, man. I want to play a game with you. Like, this is crazy. I want to play a game called How Many Times Is Eddie Hearn Gonna Be Wrong? Like,
always playing catch up. I think now he's got a decent profile. I think he's done a good job. I feel sorry for him because he has to do it all himself. See, I'm a mouthpiece, right? I just talk.
Eddie Hearn's kind of like pompous. He says, I'm a mouthpiece, like as if you're doing, like, putting Joshua in a, basically what I'm saying is you being a mouthpiece for Joshua is actually hurting his image right now.
I talk on your behalf. So when you're training in the gym, I'm out there. When I say I'm talking, it's just not just me turning up saying blah blah blah. It's my company, my machine, pushing across digital space, pushing across social media. Me physically talking, going around, selling the gospel of this fighter. You know, you can't do it. It'll tire you out. But Wilder has to do that himself. So it's almost like, you know, as many faults as Don King had, he was a great promoter. To be liked, I think there's enough of that in America. That's me, you know? Everyone loves that. Like Jesse Vargas, you know, this guy, oh yeah, that's me, you know, everyone loves that. So that's our job. And you know, I think when you talk about Wilder, why is he not as big as, and that's the reason. He wasn't built from the debut. Joshua was built from the debut. On Joshua's debut, I headlined him on his debut at the O2. Sold about 7,000 tickets, right?
This is comical to hear because like Eddie Hearn keeps telling like, oh yeah, I did this and this. I'm the mouthpiece while the fighter's in the gym. But you have Jesse Vargas fighting Thomas Delorme, and the fight's really not garnering no major buzz. You got Danny Jacobs versus Sergey Derevyanchenko, and I follow him. You know, Jacobs is my dude, so I kind of seen some things on his social media, but I've literally not heard. It's a great fight, you know. Danny Jacobs versus I don't know, Danny Jacobs versus Sergey Derevyanchenko, and Demetrius Boo Boo Andre versus Billy Joe. Both really good fights, but stateside, they're, to me, as of right now, the fights are next month. You guys know that, right? It's not really no major buzz for it. Like, I think the fights will be good. I think they'll deliver, you know, and they're meaningful fights. But in terms of, he keeps saying, oh, I'm the mouthpiece and my machine, my. He sounds like Johnny Gill and said, my. Right? Like, especially Jesse Vargas versus Delorme. You know, I ain't heard no buzz from him. You know, and he's like, yeah, I'm just a mouthpiece. Because the factual thing is, it's funny, man. Really and truly is. He keeps talking about Deontay Wilder. I feel bad for him because he has to promote the fight. But you feeling bad for him, but he ain't saying it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, listen to the haters in my live stream. They keep saying, "Oh, Ego's begging for donations. He's panhandling." But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about boxing, and they're saying it. So I'm not complaining. I'm not bringing it up. You are. So that goes to show me you're pocket watching. You know what I'm saying? Hearn is saying, "Oh, I feel bad for Wilder." But Wilder don't even feel bad for Wilder. He hasn't said, "Oh man, I'm exhausted. All this charisma and, you know, selling the Tyson Fury fight, or, you know, smoking Joshua out while I have to train. I'm just exhausted." He's not even saying that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even understand what he's talking about with that. Like, you're feeling like, basically you're feeling sorry for someone that doesn't feel sorry for themselves. I never heard Wilder complain about promoting a fight. You know, he seems like he actually likes to be in front of the camera and like, you know, MC and talk his 2 cents. But anyway, the other thing is Eddie Hearn is it just doesn't sound realistic. You know, he keeps talking about I'm the mouthpiece and Wilder will be bigger, but factually speaking, Wilder's last 2 fights were at the Barclays. Stavern 2, I went to that fight, right? It did over 10,000 crowd, right? And then it did even better at the Barclays for the fight with Luis Ortiz, factually. You know, it did like 14,500 roughly. Danny Jacobs is from Brooklyn, and Gerald Miller is from Brooklyn. Gerald Miller came out in the Black Panther like costume that was dope, you know, had a cool ring walk. 2 Brooklynites in Brooklyn fighting, and they did less of a crowd than both Wilder fights. So what is, you know, these are factual. Pull up the numbers for Jacobs versus Luis Cuba Arias, which I believe Gerald Miller was on that card too, and then Madge Selesky. You know, it sold less tickets. I actually know people that were, I was at the Stavern too, and I know people that were at the Ortiz fight. I didn't make it out to that particular one. And I know people that were at Jacob Selesky, and I seen videos. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you talking about? You keep saying like Wilder. America's just different. You know, America's just a different market.
And from there, I boxed him all over the country in England, right? And you know, people talk about, oh, Joshua should travel. He's the world heavyweight champion. He's not the British. Deontay Wilder doesn't travel. You know, he boxes in New York or Alabama.
How many times will Eddie Hearn be wrong in these interviews? You know what I'm saying? Mike Mathis says, donation is how you keep improving your channel and taking those trips for exclusives. Nobody complains when candidates that are running for president ask for donations. Yeah, man, we know what it is. It's just motherfuckers hating. Like, because they see the donations coming in and they pocket watching, so they like mad. Oh, because, you know, they didn't agree with something I said, and we got a vehicle that's moving and people support it. So, you know, it's envy, hate, just the usual shit. But Eddie Hearn just said right there, he says Wilder, he says common deflection tactics. He said people say, why doesn't Anthony Joshua travel? It says world champion. Why doesn't he travel? And then he says Wilder doesn't travel. First of all, if fans are asking you about why Anthony Joshua doesn't travel, why even bring up Wilder? You know? Yeah, they were asking you why doesn't Joshua travel? Then the answer about Joshua. You know, it reminds me of the Cat Williams joke when he was talking about Kobe Bryant when he caught that rape case. He was like, yeah, they were in court asking him about the girl. And he's like, man, Shaq do it all the time. Like, what? Nobody's talking about Shaq. We talking about you. You know? But anyway, aside from the deflection, he said, just like I said, how many times is Eddie Hearn going to do these interviews and be wrong? Because new media is here now. Listen.
You know, he boxes. He's the world heavyweight champion. He's not the British. Deontay Wilder doesn't travel. You know, he boxes in New York or Alabama.
He says Deontay Wilder doesn't travel. He boxes in New York or Alabama. He fought Bermane Stiverne in Las Vegas, right? The first fight. That was in Las Vegas. And he's fighting Tyson Fury. Where? Oh, yeah, that's right. In Los Angeles. So what is Eddie Hearn talking about? Once again, he says Deontay Wilder doesn't travel. He fights in New York or Alabama. Okay, the first Stiverne fight was in Las Vegas, I know for a fact. And he's getting ready to fight Tyson Fury in Los Angeles at the Staples Center. It's like he keeps putting on this is bad because he keeps doing these these comments are out of pocket. He keeps doing these interviews and then it's like stuff keeps coming wrong. Listen.
He's not the British. Deontay Wilder doesn't travel. You know, he boxes in New York or Alabama. He should be boxing all around America, but it's too late now. But still, he's you know, he's off the back of the Anthony Joshua negotiations. His profile's gone through the roof.
You see how this is like? This is just funny at this point. You see how that's like a complete and utter contradiction? He says Deontay Wilder doesn't travel, which I already gave you examples of where he fought outside of the places he listed, New York and Alabama. His next fight's going to be in L.A. at the Staples Center, and it's a better fight than the Povetkin fight. And then he says, but it's too late now. And then he says, off the heels of mentioning Joshua's name, his profile's through the roof. So how is it too late if you're saying his profile is through the roof and growing now? It's like none of this stuff even makes sense anymore.
Joshua negotiations, his profile's gone through the roof.
He said it's too late.
He's still, you know, he's all around America, but it's too late now. But still, you know, he's off the back of the Anthony Joshua negotiations. His profile's gone through the roof. You know.
He said it's too late and immediately follows up by his profile's gone through the roof. I thought you just said it was too late. Then you say he boxes in two places. I gave you an example of how it's not. And he just said it's too late now. So if it's too late to travel and build his profile, why are people gassed up for the Fury fight? And why isn't it in a new location that you didn't mention? Y'all let me know.
So, no, he's doing well.
He's doing well.
Between Wilder and Fury will take place, or is it just talk?
Well, I can only base it on the conversations that I've had with Fury, like as in a couple
He's answering if he thinks Wilder Fury will happen.
of months ago when he was going to sign with us. But the level of opposition that he wanted to give us for the next 4 fights was like laughable. So how he then goes and fights Wilder, having not even boxed anyone, I can't see it. But who knows?
I can't see it. Who knows?
I like the fight. I mean, it's a terrible fight for Fury.
I like the fight. It's a terrible fight for Fury.
At the moment, because he doesn't have the confidence. He doesn't, you know.
This is like, these interviews are just funny now. He says a terrible fight for Fury because he doesn't have the confidence, yet the fight is going on. So obviously he has the confidence and the balls to actually fight Wilder because he's doing it. You see that? How does that, like, honestly, how does that make sense? He says a terrible fight. He said the Wilder fight is a terrible fight for Fury because he doesn't have the confidence. But he's taking the fight. They're scheduling his sparring partners in America. He's sparring. I made a video about it. He's going to spar with Joe Joyce and Big Bear at Abel Sanchez's gym, right? So how are you going to say Fury is a terrible fight because he doesn't have confidence? But if anything, even if Fury loses, you can't take away his confidence. That's like saying Amir Khan don't have heart. I mean, you can say whatever you want about his chin, or, you know, say he's chasing Mayweather, or what, you know, say whatever you want about Khan, but you can't take away that the man has heart. You know, he just told you it's a bad fight because Tyson Fury doesn't have confidence, but obviously he does have some confidence if he's taking the fight.
Because he doesn't have the confidence. He doesn't. I mean, it's a terrible fight for Fury at the moment because he doesn't have the confidence. He doesn't, you know. But it makes the Joshua fight massive for Wilder. So I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he.
This is funny. He said Wilder's in a weak spot. Okay.
For Wilder, so I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he really needs. You know, I feel as though he feels under pressure. Like, maybe not under pressure, but he wanted the Joshua fight. Now he's saying to the team, like, what are you going to deliver me? Showtime haven't really got the money to give him the money that he'd like.
He said, like I said, I told you I wanted to play a game called How Many Times Is Eddie Hearn Going to Be Wrong? It's like everything he said in this interview, this was a couple weeks before today. It's like literally everything he's saying is turning up fall. He said Wilder boxes in two places, Alabama or New York, but he fought Stavern in Vegas, and he's fighting again in LA, so that was wrong. He says Tyson Fury doesn't have any confidence, but that's wrong because the fight is scheduled, the fight is on, contracts are signed, so obviously he has enough gall and confidence to participate in the fight. He said Wilder's in a weak spot. That's false. You know, how's he in a weak spot? He's in a bigger event, bigger fight, and he's, you know, if he gets past Fury, he's had a better 2018 than Joshua, you know. Meanwhile, Joshua's his platform and his brand is being scrutinized, and people are in his social media like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, fight Wilder, right? So, but, you know, it's like, what is Eddie Hearn's, like, everything he says is, like, wrong. He says Wilder is in a bad spot. Showtime can't pay him the money that he wants, but then how is he fighting?
What are you going to deliver me? Showtime haven't really got the money to give him the money that he'd like.
Showtime ain't really got the money to give him the money that he'd like.
So they might have to do a pay-per-view fight that might not be pay-per-view, if that makes sense.
So Showtime might do a pay-per-view, or it might not be pay-per-view. Like, what are you talking about? What is he really saying, though? He just said Wilder's in a difficult spot. Showtime ain't really got the money to pay him the money he likes, so it might have to be a pay-per-view or it might not. You just said two different things. This is funny. Just listen.
He feels under pressure, like a weak spot at the moment. You know?
He said Wilder's in a weak spot. So Joshua's he's on the high perch, and Wilder's the one in a weak spot, and he feels under pressure. Okay. And then he says Showtime has the money to pay him. They don't have the money to pay him. So it might be on pay-per-view or it might not. What? Just listen.
For Wilder. So I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he really needs
Joshua?
You know, I feel as though he feels under pressure. Like maybe not under pressure, but he wanted the Joshua fight. Now he's saying to the team, right, what are you going to deliver me? Showtime haven't really got the money to give him the money that he'd like, so they might have to do a pay-per-view fight that might not be pay-per-view, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit like Garcia against.
I'm not following that. Maybe you guys can decode it for me. He said Wilder's in a weak position, like not a position of power. Showtime ain't got the money. They might put it on pay-per-view. They might not put it on pay-per-view. And then he says Wilder's probably thinking and looking at his team like he wanted the Joshua fight, but now they're like, what are you going to give me? Yeah. So he's admitting that Wilder wanted the Joshua fight. Hey, new media is going ham. He just admitted like you guys heard it. He just admitted Wilder wanted the Joshua fight. But I thought he was ducking. Hold on, let me play that again. I just thought about that right now. Oh, hell no. Eddie, what have you done for me lately? I just thought of that. He just admitted that Wilder wanted the fight.
He wanted the Joshua fight. Now he's.
Oh my gosh.
Feels under pressure, like maybe not under pressure, but needs. You know, I feel as though he feels under pressure. I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he really needs. You know, I feel as though he feels under pressure, like maybe not under pressure, but he wanted the Joshua fight. Now he's saying to the team, right, what are you going to deliver?
He just said he wanted the Joshua fight. New media. Listen. This, I tell you, if you look at the clues, I told you I could have been a lawyer. If you look at the clues, right? If you look at the clues, people tell on themselves. You just have to know what to look for. He just told you out his own mouth. This corroborates what I've been telling you guys. This really does. Here's how. I told you. Remember I said Wilder's team, Al Heyman, they're playing chess. Eddie Hearn's been playing checkers with this thing, right? Here's how. Eddie Hearn, him and his side made sure the Povetkin fight went through and made sure the Joshua, Wilder fight didn't happen, right? In Eddie Hearn's mind, he underestimated Wilder's team, Finkel, Wilder, Al Heyman, yet again. And they pulled out another wild card, just like they did with the $50 million. So he just told on himself and pretty much corroborated what I'm saying. In his mind, he was saying, since Joshua didn't have this what I think happened. Since the Joshua fight wasn't going to happen because of them, he thought that Wilder was going to be forced to fight somebody that he already beat, like a Luis Ortiz, or fight a Dominic Breazeale fight, which AJ already knocked out Dominic Breazeale. So, it wouldn't be like a massive fight, It would just be something, just a fight. So Eddie Hearn underestimated, and he talked to Tyson Fury, as he said in this interview. And because he talked to Fury a couple months ago, he thought no way Fury would take a fight as dangerous as Wilder with only 2 tune-ups. Because I guess apparently when he was trying to sign Tyson Fury, Fury wanted 4 tune-ups or some shit. Right? But money talks, And Tyson Fury's, I don't think likes Eddie Hearn. So whatever he was willing to do in a deal with you, he probably wanted you to pay him for 4 average, mediocre tune-up type fights. But money talks, Al Heyman, Showtime, Frank Warren, looks like BT Sport or whatever, they got this done. But this, like I said, this corroborates. He just told you. He says, in my honest opinion, I feel he thought that Wilder was gonna have to fight someone like a Dominic Breazeale because he wanted to fight Joshua, and they didn't make that happen. So who else was really left that was really realistic, reasonable? He didn't consider Tyson Fury because he talked to Tyson Fury, and he didn't think Tyson Fury would budge and be ready after only 2 tune-ups. So he thought Wilder would be trapped. So that's why he's kind of telling on himself, saying like Wilder feels under pressure. He wanted the Joshua fight. He wanted the Joshua fight and didn't get it. So he's looking at his team like, who are you going to get for me? And his team did a hell of a job and actually got someone who is the next best, you know, consolation prize. Yes, Tyson Fury doesn't have all the belts, but the real fight fans know the origin of how Joshua became a champion and know that really virtually all of Joshua's belts came from this man, Tyson Fury, who messed up in his personal life. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is the next best thing. It's a fight for respect. 2 undefeated fighters. Shout out to Purple Clouds Beats, $2 super chat. Thank you. It says just checking in. The Vampire Stream. Ego voice. You know, Eddie Hearn just told on himself there. He just admitted on camera that Wilder wanted the fight. He just said it. So I thought Team Joshua was saying that Wilder forgot his pin and he didn't want the fight really. He was just posturing. Then why? I told you, Eddie be all over the place, you know, and I don't think they're used to someone as diligent as me in new media who's willing to research and cover this shit. You know, that's why stuff goes beyond, like, beneath the radar. How is old media gonna explain this? He just told you. He says, he just said Wilder's under pressure because he wanted the Joshua fight. You just told on yourself. He said, he's basically saying Wilder's under pressure because he's probably looking at his team like, you couldn't secure me a Joshua fight. I want a big fight. You know?
You know, I feel as though he feels for Wilder. So I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he really needs. You know, I feel as though he feels under.
See, and you see how he's like, he's not trying to say what he's trying to mask it. He says that's why he's teetering on his words like that. You know, he says Wilder's in a weak spot. He needs, and then he just cut it off because it sounded like he was going to say something like he needs Joshua. So just listen to the pause, how he had to clean it up.
So I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he really needs. You know, I feel as though he feels.
See how he's all stuttered because he knew what he was about to say wasn't gonna sound right. He says, I think Wilder is in a weak spot because he really needs. I mean, he's under pressure right now. He's under pressure. No, not really under pressure. Okay, because you're trying to carefully pick your words because you know you're gonna say the wrong thing if you don't think about it.
I think Wilder's in a weak spot at the moment. You know, I think he really needs
Joshua.
You know, I feel as though he feels under pressure. Like maybe not under pressure, but he wanted the Joshua fight. Now he's saying to the team, like, what are you going to deliver me?
He wanted the Joshua fight. Now he's saying to his team, what are you going to deliver for me? He just told you. So what happened to the Wilder forgot his pin? Oh man. Bogart Skrilla, $2 super chat. What's the Jeff Hearn news? I just joined. Jeff Hearn said a rematch will be different in Australia with Crawford. Which, no. He's fighting Anthony Mundane most likely. So that was it. Now we're talking about the Joshua situation. You know, so again, to me, you guys can feel whatever you want, but this corroborates what I've been saying. Once again, I believe Eddie Hearn underestimated Wilder's team and thought, hey, you couldn't secure the Joshua fight because we didn't allow for that to happen. So as a result, you're going to have to fight someone like Dominic Breazeale. He didn't think the Wilder Fury fight would be possible. That's why he's acting so doubtful of the fight and, you know, oh, what's taking so long with the date and venue? That's why, because he knows, he keeps telling you it's a good fight. You know, that, okay, put it this way. I mean, let's not play semantics. Notice the fans that love boxing and just want to see a good fight. Based on the evidence, just hear me out, please. Just hear me out. Notice the fans that really want to see the fight and that love good boxing matches, and they're reading the articles on the major websites. They're watching my videos. They're looking at Wilder's videos that he's posting on his social media. They're looking at the videos Tyson Fury's posting. They're watching the interviews with Frank Warren, right? Notice how the people who have, no horse in the race, no agenda or nothing, that just like good old-fashioned boxing, nobody else is really doubting at this point that the fight is going to happen, but somehow, some way, he's super skeptical that the fight's going to happen. I'm talking about, I got an email from PBC. PBC emailed me talking about the fight is on. It's who goes through these great lengths, Ring TV just reported from their sources that it's supposed to be at the Staples Center, which is the same source that I heard, right? Look, I posted about it. You see, media alert. The contracts are signed. The fight is on. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. This is an email. That's just the first part of it. But I posted that immediately when I got it. But notice Eddie Hearn is the only one still doubting that the fight's going to happen. Everyone else who just wants to see the fight, they're like, okay, all the evidence is really supporting and showing that, Tyson Fury's getting sparring partners lined up for Big Bear, right? Tyson Fury's keeping his weight down. Tyson Fury's doing videos, keep calling out Deontay Wilder, saying he's going to surprise people. Wilder said that he signed his portion. Fury said he signed his portion. Frank Warren's doing interviews with IFL TV saying it's going on and it'll be announced on their schedule, and leave it to Eddie Hearn. He's the only one, and people like, his disciples or whatever on YouTube, they're the only ones still acting like the evidence supports to something else, or the evidence points to the fight not happening, It's because they don't want it to happen, especially Eddie Hearn, because he knows, he keeps telling you it's a good fight. He said it's good for boxing. It's a good fight. Joshua told you that too. That's why Eddie Hearn's mad, because his plan backfired. You try to starve Wilder out. You try to play this A-side game, and then two other people join forces and shitted on your A-side shit. Listen, that has never happened. That has never happened that I remember. Okay, this is what in essence happened. I'm just gonna throw, this is just bullshit. You guys want an analogy? I gotta make sure y'all leaving up. I'll give you a pretty good analogy, right? If y'all want to hear this analogy, can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? I got a pretty good analogy. Okay, peep this out. This would be kind of an equivalent, just to put you guys in the state of mind that I'm thinking. So Mayweather undefeated when he first started talking to Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao didn't, the fight fell apart. Let's say Pacquiao was doing what, this is all hypothetical. Let's say Pacquiao was doing what Wilder was doing to AJ to land the Mayweather fight, right? So let's pretend Floyd Mayweather was using his A-side shit and Pacquiao was smoking Mayweather out like Wilder's doing with AJ, right? Just hypothetically, let's picture this. And then Pacquiao keeps trying to smoke him out, and everything that happened with Wilder this year in regards to the negotiation, Pacquiao offered Mayweather, 50 million guaranteed, 100 million guaranteed, and he turned it down, something like that, right? And then Pacquiao was insistent. He was willing to come to Floyd. He was willing to fight in New York. He was willing to do whatever. And it was just Pacquiao really trying to land this fight, even willing to take short money to try to, corner Mayweather. And Mayweather was just being the A side, right? And Mayweather wasn't budging. And then Mayweather went on to fight Robert Guerrero or somebody, lesser. Like, oh, Guerrero's your mandatory. And Pacquiao was stuck without a dance partner. That's like Pacquiao joining forces with the undefeated Canelo and making up a major fight between Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez. Like, you know, let's say a catchweight of 150 or 152 or some shit, right? When Canelo was undefeated. That would be the equivalent of what's happened here. You know, Mayweather playing games and, you know, trying to overly A-side people, and Pacquiao's insisting on the fight, can't get it. He tries to corner Mayweather. He's willing to take short money. He does everything he could. And then Mayweather's still doing this A-side shit. And then Pacquiao says, you know what? And contacts Canelo and comes out with this completely wild card that no one thought would happen. And Manny Pacquiao does he announces a major fight in Vegas against Canelo. That's what happened. That's in essence what happened. There you go, girls teaming up. Hey, block this fool. Eric, #1 pro player. Block him. He's talking crazy. Yeah, he gotta go. I don't know. Anyway, that would be a major backfire for Floyd Mayweather. You know, if he was starving Pacquiao out of a fight, Floyd thought Pacquiao had no other options in the division, or, you know, no other options for a mega fight. And then Pacquiao's like, okay, you want to play games? And then Pacquiao and Top Rank got with Golden Boy and Canelo, and then they put together their own fight. And, you know, the two B sides teamed up to overthrow the A side. That's, you know, that's the gist of the comparison. You get what I'm saying? That is the equivalent of what's happened here. You got two guys who would otherwise be the B side to AJ, you know, and the AJ A side was playing A side games, choosing lesser comp than both of them, and now the two B sides joined forces and became an A side fight. You feel what I'm saying? That is what happened here. This is what makes Matchroom feel threatened, because you have to know. AJ's fight with Povetkin, it didn't even settle out, you know? And I think that has a lot to do with people aren't with the games anymore, you know? They really aren't. People know what happened. And a lot of people checked out like, man, okay, we see what's going on now. We see what's going on. It's looking like I told y'all. I keep telling y'all the same thing, and y'all get mad when I say I told y'all so. But then when I actually told you so and y'all don't listen, then what? And then when it turns out to be true. I got heat, like the new media is coming with heat nonstop. It really is not stopping. It's been on and popping for us. Y'all want some more heat? I got some more heat right here. Should I stop? Y'all want me to stop, or you want more heat? Let me see where the likes are. If y'all want some more heat, can I get a hell yeah? Yo, if y'all want more heat, we need 100 likes or better. What the fuck? We at 70 likes. Y'all gotta crank them likes up. What are y'all doing? We doing the vampire stream, and we got a good amount of people watching. It's just y'all gotta hit that like button. Y'all want more heat or not? Y'all gotta crank these likes up. Y'all half sleep and shit, not trying to put like. We putting in work nonstop. New media is the machine, you know. Keep it going. Smash the like button. See, we got that extendo clip on the game, man. He said, I just woke up. The first thing you should do when you wake up is get that new media. Like, we stay working around the clock. We don't sleep. Don't get tired. Smash the like button. It don't matter what time it is. It's we working time. All right.
Joshua fights Wilder.
Look. Y'all ready? Hold on. I got to make sure y'all up. Y'all want this heat? If y'all want the heat, y'all got to say hell yeah, or I need y'all to type heat. Or you could put the fire emoji. Y'all ain't up enough. You ain't true vampires unless you know how to move even when you're tired. Shout out to Brendan Schaub and his podcast, Below the Belt.
Until Joshua fights Wilder, none of his fights will be that big anymore. I should put this caveat. Until he fights the winner of Wilder Fury, it does not matter who he fights next. He should not fight anybody next. Not Dylan White, no one. He needs to fucking sit on the shelf and build the fight. Don't do anything outside that. I'm sick of it, man. Okay, so he beat this guy. Cool. It didn't make ESPN here. It didn't make Fox Sports. It didn't make my Twitter mentions. You ain't doing shit.
Who's it? Oh, shit. A heavyweight UFC fighter with a popular podcast? Damn. You know? Brendan Schaub even saying it, you know? He said, we don't care who you fighting at. He just told you. He's saying, this man is saying the same exact thing that I've been saying to y'all. He went in. He's saying the same. Does that sound like new media or what? Like, honestly, does that sound like the same thing that I've been saying? You know, all these, like, see, I told you. The great thing about new media, I got a backbone. I'm built for this. You know, I be in the front line saying all these points. You know, there's always going to be resistance with certain things because people have radical fan bases. I don't give no shits about it. Do it. Put it out. You know, stand by it. Stand on top of it. You don't see me back down because I know what I'm doing in my heart is right. You know, and then now you start seeing more and more people coming out. Lennox Lewis, Luis King Kong Ortiz, Brendan Schaub, you know, Wilder, of course, Wilder's team, of course, right? Joseph Parker, of course, you know, and now you're seeing more people. Brendan Schaub just broke it down. That sound like me. That sound like the same. Me and Brendan Schaub, we on the same page with this subject. You know, he says your fight with Povetkin didn't make ESPN. It didn't make my Twitter feed. Nobody was talking about it. He said your next fights are going to do, what did he say? He said your next couple of fights are going to do lower and lower until you fight them. Like, damn.
Until Joshua fights Wilder, none of his fights will be that big anymore.
He said until Joshua fights Wilder, none of his fights will be that big anymore. Or fight the winner of Tyson Fury Wilder. You know, he said he shouldn't do anything next but fight Wilder, Tyson Fury winner. His words. So, you know, I don't care. You know, there's other channels that get on here. Listen, I'm telling y'all how this game works. Now, Eagles Army, we ready, you know. You have people, like, peep this. How is it that professional fighters, former fighters, trainers, they're saying and corroborating and, you know, basically saying the same thing that I'm saying with a lot of these issues? Brendan Schaub just said the same thing. the stuff that they say, like the channels that say the opposite, you don't hear. Like, why didn't Brendan Schaub on his podcast say what they're saying? Like, oh, Wilder's a chicken shit. Look at his chicken legs. Windmill Wilder. You know, I'm not talking about like Instagram pages, because there, you know, some people do Instagram pages for hobbies and stuff. I'm saying someone with a reputable podcast, a reputable trainer, you know, a reputation in this game. Basically, someone who gets decent, like good checks from this game. You know, makes money in this game. Why are they not saying what these other dudes are saying? You know, oh, AJ's the A side. He should never fight Wilder. Why are they, all this stuff that they make is Wilder's never sold out a stadium? Why didn't Brendan Schaub say that? You know, why is no one else saying this but them? Wonder why Brendan didn't talk about how Dana went ghost when Woodley defeated Dana's Great White Hope until... I don't know. I don't watch every episode of his podcast, but he already did stand up for T Wood. So I don't know what you're talking about. He already said, that's messed up. It's a conflict of interest when you keep going after Woodley like that. So he did stand up for Tyron Woodley. I don't know if he said anything post-fight. I mean, go watch his podcast, you know. It's multiple episodes, but he did stand up for Woodley and said it's not professional and it's a conflict of interest that Dana White wants Tyron Woodley to lose and shit. But I'm telling you. Yeah, he gave Woodley his props anyway. I'm telling you, new media, we got this. He just said like everything, you know, nothing else needs to be said. He said Joshua's fights are gonna get fewer and fewer, you know, until he fights them. That's why I'm saying, like, the way Eddie Hearn has conducted this, he keeps saying, oh, like it's a good thing. Oh, I'm a mouthpiece for my fighters. I talk for him. Maybe that's not such a good thing, because now people are angry, you know. They're like, man, it's getting crazy, y'all. All right, we got a hot seat. This is how we eradicate him. It says Brendan Schaub being KO'd 6 to 7 times. He doesn't know what he's saying. Okay, so what do you disagree with? His name is Bread is Good. What do you disagree with? Because this is what they do. They start bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with it. He got KO'd in a whole different sport. You know, how many fights you got? Like, if, you know what I mean? So what do you disagree with that he said? Because you say he don't know nothing, and you bring up him getting knocked out, which has nothing to do with it. These dudes be saying whatever. You're in the hot seat. Please explain. What do you disagree with that he said, since he don't know nothing because he got knocked out 6 to 7 times? So you would have been better off if you just said he don't know what he's talking about. But I could tell you hating just based on the fact that you talked about him getting knocked out. Like as if that had something to do with his opinion. Where are you at? You have 10 seconds, man. The show must go on. What's the dude's name again? Somebody tell me his name. What is the dude's name? What is this dude's name in the hot seat? Hey, shooter, block him. It's been over 10 seconds. He still hasn't responded. Bread is good. Oh, hold on. Brendan has always attached himself to hype fighters. He always about the numbers. He doesn't make a case. It's always hype. Get out of here. Just block him. Bread is good. Listen. I said, what did he say right there that you disagree with? And he starts saying generic shit. You notice that? Brendan's all about hype fighter. He's all about numbers. Get him out of here. You're not even saying nothing. Okay. I just played what he said. And you said he been knocked out 6 to 7 times, so he don't know shit. And then I asked you what he said that you disagree with, like meaning right there. And he said nothing specific to that. All right, we got another dude in the hot seat. I told you, I will not stop. Okay. Big Baller. He says Schaub is a bit of an idiot. He did say McGregor would kill Floyd. Who cares? We're talking about what he said now. What did you're in the hot seat. What did he just say? Because you bringing up what he said about other stuff. You know, if he says something that's on point, he says something that's on point. So what did he just say right then and there that you disagreed with? You know, you bringing up a fight from last year. This is what they do. Oh, yeah, he did say Conor. I mean, who cares? We're talking about what he just said right there. What do you disagree with? Big Baller. You're going to be big loser. You're going to be triple L brand. What did he just say that you disagree with regarding Joshua? We're just going to do one by one. Y'all will learn to put comments that you can respond to. In mine. Bread is good is already out of here. This is another cat. You know, y'all gonna start putting comments that you can speak to. Come on, Big Baller brand, Big L brand. So what did he say about Joshua that you disagree with? What's that degree with what? What's that diagree with? Block, get him out of here. What the fuck is a diagree? You motherfuckers be drinking in the daytime and shit. What's a diagree? What is that? Nah, you said Schaub's a moron and you spelled disagree, diagree. Get him out of here. How you gonna call the next man a moron? You spelling diagree, but you call him a moron. Whatever. Listen, we're trying to stick to a subject. I don't care, I don't watch every episode, but the ones that he's talking about boxing, I try to take a look at. You motherfuckers talking about Conor McGregor, what he said, that's cool. He was giving Conor McGregor a chance and all that. But we talking about Joshua. That's like this title of this video had nothing to do with Mayweather McGregor. I'm so over that fight. I knew it was gonna happen. Only people like, UFC fighters and Skip Bayless didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. So this is about Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, Deontay Wilder, Wilder Fury. Let's talk about that. Talk about Danny. Talk about Danny, champ of the world. Talk about Danny. I speak the truth. Talk about Danny. Let's talk about AJ. I speak the truth. Why Luis Medina said, why we going in on Brendan Schaub when he has a background in combat sport in his own show? Y'all motherfuckers can't even pay for a 444 at Wendy's. Hey, Eagles Army be riding. I love this channel. You guys are funny as fuck. He said you can't get no 444. That was funny. Listen, once again, what do you disagree with here? Bottom line is, like I said, Eddie Hearn he just told you on tape that Wilder wanted the AJ fight. Where's the response to that? Where's the response to everything he said in that last interview a couple weeks back that was all wrong? He said Wilder's in a bad spot. Nobody else feels that way but you. You know, how's he in a bad spot? He going to make probably a career high payday versus Tyson Fury. He's fighting in the Staples Center. Listen, some of you guys don't. Let me break it down, man. Because I do a lot of thinking, so I think about little stuff. Somebody tell me where LeBron James plays. What team is LeBron James on? Somebody, anybody. Please, I forgot. Where does LeBron James play? What team does he play for? Please help. Thank you, Ruben. He said the Lakers. Okay. Where do the Lakers play? I forget. You know, it leaves me. What is the name of the venue that LeBron, you say he plays for the Lakers, right? He plays for the Lakers. Where do the Lakers play? Like, what's the name of the venue? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Brian said the Staples Center. Where they holding the Wilder Fury fight? I forget. You know, where's the Wilder Fury fight going to be held at? Oh, Ezekiel. Okay, Staples. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. We have the first major main event heavyweight boxing, not UFC or some shit, boxing event back at the Staples. The last one I remember, you know, in the heavyweight division that was at the Staples Center, not Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mares, Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter. I was at that one at the Staples Center. I'm talking about major boxing. And trust me, the Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter shit was lit. But the major heavyweight boxing, the last one I remember at the Staples Center was, you know, Lennox Lewis versus Vitaly Klitschko. That's the last one. And that was an epic classic fight. You know, that's the last thing I can remember. Now they're bringing heavyweight boxing in a meaningful fight back to the Staples Center the year LeBron James is with the Lakers. The first year he's, you know, joined the Lakers. So I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but I do know LeBron is an athlete, and he was at Canelo versus Golovkin. This fight is happening in his house, you know. Any team he goes to, he's the man, you know. That's just what it is. And I'm a Kobe fan, you know, and Jordan, of course. But, you know, that's what it is. But I know LeBron was at Canelo versus Golovkin. And he's a boxing fan, a sports fan. So I think there's a strong possibility he'll probably go, you know. And, you know, it's just, I just feel like the atmosphere is going to be crazy. You're probably going to have some Lakers players in there. You know, hopefully LeBron goes because, I mean, he's fucking, him and Wilder are almost the same build and size and shit. So I think it's going to be turned. You know, this is a lot of, shout out to Slip the Jab. He said a lot of exposure and star power and fighting in LA. Win-win all day. That's what I'm saying. You know, I think it's going to be, I think this is a big fight. People are talking about it. People are looking at this as like, okay, Joshua didn't want to fight. This is the next best fight that could have been made with the guys. There's up-and-comer guys that are good, but ready-made, if it's not going to be Parker lost his belt, you know, and there's only 2 guys in the division with belt, and one of them doesn't want to fight the other. So this is literally the next best thing you can do. You know, and they're both showmen. Like, it's lit. Everything Eddie Hearn said in that interview a few weeks ago is almost all false. He said Wilder's in a bad spot. How? He about to fight at the Staples Center. The Staples Center on pay-per-view. So I'm assuming it's going to be a career-high payday. I, myself, am going to promote the fuck out of this fight. Me personally. I don't care if anyone else, every other channel could be promoting other fights. I'm promoting the fuck out of this fight. Tell me when to go like E40. I'm from the Bay. Because I support good boxing and what's right for boxing. Tyson Fury, he's from the UK. He's seen how Joshua and team decided to play it. And he's standing up for the whole UK. I have no choice but to respect that. I see people hating and talking about AJ. He has haters, and Fury and Wilder are jealous. So they're trying to announce on his day. Who cares, you know? So they're jealous now, you know what I'm saying? That's what you guys all say, the same shit. It's a big fight, man. Shout out to my dude Hamza. He said, like Boxingego said weeks ago, when are we going to hold people accountable for continually being wrong? I'm still waiting to know that, my guy. These channels, they just be saying whatever, and then they keep being wrong. Like, what's the consequence? Oh, where's the date and venue? Like, I'm gonna be at the press tour in LA, and they still gonna be talking about, hey, I'm not sure the fight's gonna happen, you know? And hopefully I can get in Wilder his camp and get some footage for you guys. And then they're still gonna be saying the fight's not going on. Listen, it's boxing. Things have happened, and you know, God forbid, knock on wood, nothing happens. But there's nothing that I'm seeing that is showing that this fight shouldn't happen and go through. You know. But for some reason, even though all the indicators are pointing to yes, Eddie Hearn keeps saying no. Okay, and now he's saying that Wilder has to commit and sign and agree before the outcome of the fight. Why would that? How does that make sense, y'all? Wilder has to agree to fight AJ and negotiate it all for April, and he has to do it before his biggest fight. You know what I mean? How does that make sense? How does that make sense, y'all? Why would he do that? He's about to fight a fight that we don't know what is going to be his first pay-per-view. It's going to be at the Staples Center. You know, it should be a great event. And you want Wilder to commit to fighting you before we even see the outcome of that fight. Like, come on, man. Shout out to Miguel Gonzalez. Real respect, real. He said Eddie Hearn knows Deontay Wilder's stock will go up after the Fury fight. Exactly. That's why he don't want to wait till that moment so he can trap him. He knows listen. He knows that Joshua, his time is coming where he's going to have to fight the winner of this fight at some point. You know? So now I think he's just of the mindset that, shit, if we have to fight this guy, okay, let's at least make as much money as we can humanly possible make just in case we lose. Okay, so Joshua's poll ended. I'm telling you, new media is clapping shit. Anthony Joshua on his verified page, he put a poll, said cast your votes on who I should fight. The poll is ended. Look, almost 500,000 people voted. These are the final results on Twitter. He said he was going to do this. Who's in blue? Who won? Ding, ding, ding. Wilder got 53% of the votes. Fury got 42% of the votes. And Dillian White got 5%. Out of almost 500,000 people voted, and only 5% of the people picked Dillian White. They want to see a Dillian White rematch. I'm telling you, it's over. If you're not talking the truth, it's over. New media is here. New media is here to stay. That's bad. Almost 1 million people voted. Joshua did what he said, so you know I give it to him because at least he put it. You know, I didn't think he was gonna put it because I didn't think it really required a poll. You know who? Listen to what I said. Listen to what I say and tell me. I told you after the Povetkin fight when he did the post-fight interview, I'm like, come on, you don't need to do a poll to know who the fans want to see you fight. You know who they want you to fight. But he did it anyway. Okay, cool. Now we just seen. Only 5% people said Dillian White rematch that they want to see that. 5% of, who's good with math? What's 5% of 500,000? Because we'll just round up to 500,000 because it was pretty close to that many votes. What is 5% of 500,000? All my math whizzes. Let me know what that is. Damn, you guys are all over the place. Y'all motherfuckers just guessing. Y'all like boxing. Y'all need to go back to school. Hey, y'all tripping. Some of y'all are punch drunk. Y'all just $6. Like, how'd you get $6? Y'all math is horrible. See, this when we listen to that mumble rap. It's 25,000. Please, okay, please stop. Some of you guys are just, your math is like horrendous, to be honest. Are you a fighter? They be like 3 apples. What? Hey, remember that little kid? He was like, what's 2 plus 2? 21? You stupid. Remember that Vine? That shit. All right, I gotta stop with the math problems because some of y'all can't. He said, listen, someone said I'm doing trap math. Yeah, you gonna be missing some money or some drugs because that's horrible. Y'all was like 21? You stupid. Anyway, 25,000. So out of 500,000 people that voted, roughly 25,000 people picked Dillian White. Meanwhile, the number 1 and 2 people that got all the votes were the guys that are fighting in February. So you see how bad it looks like? You see how bad that looks for Joshua? Miguel Gonzalez said the 25,000, I'm sure, were British. Hell yeah. Majority of them, hell nah. Do that same poll in America and only have Americans vote. Ain't nobody gonna pick no Dillian White rematch. But that's sad. 5%. That's like milk. 2% and shit. Slip the jab. $5 super chat. I'm supporting Wilder with a pay-per-view buy, just like I'm supporting Boxingego with the super chat. Are you not entertained? Smash the like button. Hashtag Ego Army. Salute. Man, we gotta restore the feeling back in boxing, you know? If Joshua fought Wilder this year, I would do the same thing. I would promote the fuck out of the fight because that would have been what was right, in my opinion. You know. So just listen to what I said. I told y'all literally on my live stream after the Povetkin fight. I'm like, you don't need to do no poll to know who the fans want to see Joshua fight. You know what I'm saying? The poll is unnecessary. You know who he wants. I mean, the common sense tells you that because you know whose name is synonymous with yours because all the questions are directed about that person. You know, that's a telltale sign. Do you get what I'm saying? If all the questions are about Wilder every time you talk, then that's probably the guy that people want you to fight. You know, it's just common sense. It's common sense. But anyway, he did the poll anyway, and only 5%. I'm telling you, Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn and Abel Sanchez, in my opinion, they did the same thing. Here's what they did. They kept talking and doing all these interviews, right? To the point where it put them in a bad spot. It really did. They did all these interviews, like, you know, Abel was doing like Mexican style. So when Triple G's jabbing a lot, you know, people are like, hey, what happened? Why are you letting the smaller man walk you down and back you up? What happened to Mexican style? You know, and it made him look bad because they were complaining about gloves, and then he couldn't wear the gloves. They were complaining about Canelo running, and then he didn't run. They were complaining about Canelo not having, you know, balls and fighting Mexican style. And then he came forward and stood in front of Golovkin and was still bringing the fight, right? Eddie Hearn, same thing. You did all these interviews. He did all these interviews talking about we're the A side and Wilder doesn't want this. And, you know, trying to make Wilder. No one knew. Remember asking random people who were walking passerbys that asking who Wilder was. You did all this, and then now, because of the decisions you made, the people got to really see what was really going on and look under that hood. And now it's looking crazy because Joshua's stock is like not looking the same. He was having no problem selling out. Now all of a sudden his fight didn't sell out. You know, I don't think we'll ever see the DAZN numbers. Most people, if they did watch it on a free trial. You know, I just canceled mine on the stream. You know, now you're getting upstaged by a bigger fight that you said wasn't going to happen. It's just looking bad. And I'm telling you, Eddie Hearn and AJ are losing bargaining chips, at least in the popular consensus, the public opinion. They're losing that battle, right? Because of what they've done and what they've said. And the fact that you have two other respected undefeated guys risking their O's. Meanwhile, Joshua is fighting Povetkin, who already had an O, who already lost to a guy he beat in Klitschko, who really hasn't done anything since the Klitschko fight in terms of fighting grand competition. Povetkin was supposed to fight Wilder, failed a drug test. He was supposed to fight Hearn, failed a drug test. So basically, the two best people that would have been on Povetkin's recent resume, he didn't fight because he failed drug tests. That's fact. Wilder and Hearn is better. You know, those are better people at the time he was going to fight them. Those would have been better fights than any recent Povetkin opponent until Joshua. You know, better than David Price fight. You know, better than Johan Duhaupas and, you know, all this other shit Povetkin fought. You know, so, you know, this totally backfired. Totally backfired on Eddie Hearn and Joshua. Now they did a poll, and it's there for everyone to see. And I'm making a video about it, right? Only 5% people want Dillian White to get a rematch. You know? Only 5%. So if that happens to be Joshua's next fight, you do the math. And it's going to get worse and worse from here on out. So now, like E40 said, everybody got choices. Now you got some choices. You could do it right and fight the winner of Wilder Fury. Barry Hearn got, you know, roasted by Frank Warren on the radio live. And then he started sounding all defensive, like, oh, like BBC Radio 5 set me up. No, they didn't set you up. You just wasn't hanging with the points Frank Warren was making. You know, so that happened. Fans are turning. You're not selling out. You couldn't sell your coach passes or whatever. You know, it's just looking bad. Now, if you don't give Wilder what he wants, and this is kind of what he was saying, everyone keeps saying, not everyone, but a few people are saying that on that DAZN interview with Dillian White, they're saying Dillian White exposed Wilder. He didn't expose Wilder. How did he expose Wilder? He just went over an email. Wilder says basically what we already knew. Like, I'm trying to fight Joshua. He's like you know, you're not my mandatory, so I can make you wait. You know what I'm saying? If I don't get what I want, which is Joshua. You know, that's not reinventing the wheel. He told you that. He told you he's not really, doesn't care about Wilder. He said he don't want to fight Dillian White unless they're going to guarantee Joshua. So, you know, people try to act like like Dillian White came out with something with Wilder saying like, oh, I'm scared. I don't want to fight you. Don't tell nobody. You know, that what Dillian White showed in that email was pretty much common knowledge. He already told you, I'm not really worried about Dillian White. I'll fight him if I get Joshua next. But I'm not trying to play. He said kings don't travel for peasants. So we already knew he wasn't trying to fight Dillian White unless it came with Joshua. Then he said, I'll take his head off. I was there when he said it. It was in New York. So now they lost major leverage. Only 5% of 500,000 people that voted on AJ's verified page. It's not like Wilder did it on his page. This is on AJ's own page. Only 5% want the Dillian White fight. So if you don't give the winner of Wilder Fury a fair split or something they want, now they're in a position where they could starve you out and say, you know what? Okay, he's playing games. He keep offering me these bullshit flat rates. Fuck it. You know, I'll fight my mandatory because the winner will, you know, at some point have to fight Dominic Brazil so they can make that fight, you know, and people are realistic. If Wilder fights Tyson Fury and beats him and he just fought Luis Ortiz, then he deserves whatever fight he wants next, you know. If Fury beats Wilder, then he can take a softer touch, you know, that you're coming off the upset. You know, if Wilder wins, that means he's coming off Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury victories. So Joshua is going to be the one hurting in April. So, you know, everybody got choices. So the way I see it, you know, is Joshua lost leverage and his plan backfired. So he's going to either have to fight the winner of Wilder Fury, but the only way that they're going to do it, because they're coming off a big fight themselves, is to get something fair, which it doesn't look like Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn really want to make the fight, or really, even if they do make the fight, they don't want to split the money fairly. You know what I mean? So if I'm Wilder or Fury, I would take my victory, get something as close to a 50-50 split, and if they don't give it to me, I'll say, I'm cool, have fun, and then tell him to fight Dillian White. It's that simple. This is a complete reversal. Go fight the guy only 5% of the people wanted to see you fight that voted. You know? And tell Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, tell them all to do that same poll. Let's see if the results are any different. Tell them all to post that poll. You get what I'm saying? So, as far as I'm concerned, Wilder Fury, they're the A side, and they have a lot of leverage because they can actually be like, you know, if Eddie Hearn and them playing games with these flat rate offers, I'll be like, you know what? I made a lot of money with Fury. I made a lot of money with Wilder. I'm just coming off a huge win. You know, if you guys are playing games and not trying to pay me my worth, I'll fight someone else. You know, I'll fight Dominic Brazil. Take care of a mandatory. I deserve a soft touch if I want. You know, so that's basically the old saying, oh my, how the tables have turned. You know, you ever watch a movie and someone has pointed a gun at them and then they take the gun and then, you know, Jet Li points the gun at you. Like, oh, how the tables have turned. That's what happened with Anthony Joshua. You were in all this A-side position, and then just like Jet Li and Lethal Weapon, no, actually, he disassembled the gun. Oh, actually, Rush Hour, they did it. You know, the gun's pointing at you, and then Jackie Chan went like that, and now he's pointing the gun at you. The tables have turned. AJ lost leverage, and the winner, Wilder Fury, gains leverage. You know, all this, I told you, man, all this stuff. Like, I'm not really even tripping off of Derek Chisora and Dillian White. I'm not like, that's not, well, I'm going to get disowned because of that. Tables have definitely turned on AJ and Eddie Hearn. Bars, the tables have turned on AJ and Hearn. I like that. So we'll see how it all plays out. But Wilder Fury is a big fight that deserves recognition, you know. And just like Canelo Golovkin, I feel like the people who talk the most shit, they're the only ones that have negative things to say. And it's just because they're trying to save face now. You know, they said Canelo's getting knocked out. Now they're the ones that are like overly mad, you know. The people who said Wilder Fury wasn't going to happen, all this and that, they're the ones doing damage control. Like, oh, this fight still sucks. Fury's not ready. He needs more tune-ups. White is not that bad. Okay, then tell Joshua to have fun fighting White again. You know, British rivalry. Nobody says Dillian White's a bad fighter, but it's not what boxing needs, the heavyweight division. Dillian White, see, they got the game all fucked up, and people like you. Just because you look at it like this. Dillian White got knocked out by AJ. No controversy. You know? And then he's fought some cool names, but he hasn't fought nobody like beat Deontay Wilder, beat Tyson Fury, beat Luis Ortiz, even beat a Gerald Miller. Okay, out of all the people I just named, name someone Dillian White has beaten that is better than any of those guys that I just named. Has more momentum and better. Go. So out of everyone I just named, who is he beating that you would consider better than all those people I just named? Exactly. All quiet on the Western Front. So, yeah, no one's saying Dillian White's a bad fighter or he's terrible. He's cool. But again, he hasn't beat the type of a name that really warrants a rematch to a guy that knocked you out. Like, to me, beat Luis Ortiz to show the whole world that you are ready for another title shot. Or actually, Joshua wasn't a champion. See, and that's even worse now that I think about it. Joshua knocked him out when he wasn't even a champion. You know, if anything, Joshua, I'm sure, is more confident now that he's a champion, or he should at least be. He got knocked out by the non-champion Joshua. So, you know, Joshua's at least, you know, has some title defenses, has a Klitschko win, he was the first guy to beat Parker. You know what I'm saying? So, to justify a rematch really needing to take place, you know, you have to do something major. You have to do something major to show that now, okay, if you got knocked out by the non-champion AJ, then what performance really stipulates that you're ready to be the favorite, or, like, you know, to beat champion AJ? You know what I'm saying? Beat Luis Ortiz, someone who's highly respected and available, that the WBC ordered you to fight. Then maybe, you know, or even a Gerald Miller, like Lucas Brown, because you knocked him out. He didn't even look in shape for the fight. He's not had, like, what's his biggest win? You know, he was suspended for drug shit, like, more than once. You beat Joseph Parker coming off a loss. I'm sure you made good money in that, but he was coming off of a loss. He was no longer a champion. It's not like they fed champion Joseph Parker when he was undefeated to Dillian White. You just fought a man coming off of a loss. So, you know, Luis Ortiz, he already got a win back in the win column, and he did lose too. But look, this is just my honest opinion. I would rather put up Luis Ortiz's performance versus Wilder and lose like Ortiz lost than Joseph Parker, how he lost to AJ, because I think Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, they both put on better performances. You get what I'm saying? So even though Luis Ortiz was knocked out, he put on a more valiant performance and you know, gave the champ all the problems in the world. Parker gave AJ some trouble, but he also, you know, didn't step on the gas offensively to really take the champion's title at home. So, you know, I can't say Dillian White absolutely deserves, or has like a shot to really beat him until I see him beat at least like a Luis Ortiz or something. So again, no one's saying Dillian White is horrible. He's a good fighter, but at the same time, it's just like you got to make that fight make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? You got to make it make sense for them to rematch. That fight was lit. What fight? Ortiz is pretty good. No, he ain't no fucking pretty good. If he's only pretty good, then put him in there with Dillian White. Why are we talking about Dillian White and Derek Chisora? Because at the end of the day, the consensus would be that Luis Ortiz is probably fresher, even though he's been stopped. Derek Chisora's been stopped by Tyson Fury and Klitschko and David Haye and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Bottom line, Luis Ortiz is you know, perceived as more momentum and, you know, really sharp. So I'm telling you, this is part of the problem with some of the UK matchmaking. With this soft matchmaking, it's not building towards, like, if you really want to sell it, like, I feel like AJ versus Dillian White does not need to happen right now in April. But if you really want to sell us that, then I feel like you have to at least give us something better than Dillian White versus a guy he already beat in Derek Chisora. It was a close fight. I thought Derek Chisora edged it out, but the judges felt that Dillian White won. So on paper, he beat him. Why do I have to watch that again? You know? Why can't I see him fight the guy the WBC ordered him to fight? Or at least the Dominique Brazil. You know what I'm saying? A guy he hasn't beat. But preferably Luis Ortiz. You get me? If you want to try to rebrand Joshua White, I don't need to see that fight again. Realistically, Joshua, like Brendan Schaub said, should be fighting the winner of Wilder versus Fury. We don't really need unnecessary, exactly, I like how you put that, unnecessary rematches. Why? Why do we need a rematch to that? You know, and the thing with AJ and Dillian White, they have alleged bad blood, even though AJ was acting like they were friends, you know, post-fight. Dylan, where you at, Dylan? Where's Dillian? You know, after he knocked out Povetkin. So my thing is this, it's just like, they supposedly have bad blood. Joshua can lose and then fight Dillian White later on. You know, they can fight whenever. Joshua can fight him at any point. Like, they don't have to fight. Eddie Hearn this is the other thing. Eddie Hearn, according to what he said, they were trying to scale the Wembley up to 100,000 plus, right? That is not 100,000 plus fight to me. Is it to you? If Joshua versus a once beaten Povetkin, right? A fresh match. If that didn't even sell out 90,000, do you guys really think if Joshua, let's say Dillian White fights Derek Chisora in December, you really think that boosts the Joshua Dillian White 2 to over 100,000? That is going to break Joshua Klitschko record? Do you guys really think that? Because that was supposed to be the game plan for Wembley. Does anybody believe that Dillian White rebeating Derek Chisora on paper would catapult Dillian White AJ fight to over 100,000 over the Joshua Klitschko fight? Hold the line. Joshua is he said Chisora is a fun fight. I don't give a shit about fun fights. Luis Ortiz is a fun fight. And it's a more meaningful fight. See, you talking about fun. This ain't Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to give Dillian White a title shot, cool. But how, you know, if you could beat Luis Ortiz, then that might convince me that the Joshua, okay, if you knock out Luis Ortiz like you did the Lucas Brown, okay, maybe you're ready to re-challenge Anthony Joshua. I don't care about fight. You keep saying it's a fun fight. Luis Ortiz and Dillian White is a fun fight. Plus, it means more. Because if you can beat Luis Ortiz, then, you know, the AJ fight might be pretty good in the rematch. Right? Because I think that's a difficult fight for anybody in the division. So if you could show me that you could get past him, plus the WBC ordered it, so you'll move up in you know, stature with the WBC, and you'll get a ton of respect from the boxing fan. You talk about it's a fun fight. You know, there's a lot of fights that are fun. Like Brandon Rios and Victor Ortiz is probably a fun fight. but it really means little to the division at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really worried about fun fights. Again, we're talking about Eddie Hearn said they're going to configure Wembley to 100K plus. So Derek Chisora being a fun fight, that's not enough to boost the rematch with Dillian White to over 100,000, where it beats Joshua Klitschko to me. You know, I don't even think it'll beat Carl Froch, George Groves, because that was genuine bad blood as well. You know, and the first fight was controversial. So, you know, how it stopped was controversial. AJ versus Dillian White wasn't controversial. So how are they expecting to do that number? Yes, Dillian White's fun, trash talking, banter, and all that. He talks a little bit of shit, but you said I answered no, it's just a fun fight. I didn't see anything about a no. I just seen it's a fun fight. Oh, you put it on two separate lines. That's why. Your comment, all it said was, it's a fun fight. You know, you didn't say, no, it's a fun fight. In the same, that's why I didn't even see your bub. I thought that was someone else. So, yeah, that wasn't, you know, really my fault. I would have put no in the, you know, put it in one sentence because I thought it was someone else leaving a comment. But I feel you. But anyway, yeah, I'm not worried about fun fight. Like, you, if you're trying to break Wembley records, you got to make it make sense to the fans. And it's like crazy. It's crazy that they assume because UK fans are loyal. Like, this is what Wilder was talking about with milking the public. You know, the cow shit. Just because the UK fans are loyal, don't mean you have to take advantage of them. Like, just to be real, I liked AJ versus Povetkin. Turned out, you know, solid action and stuff. Still wasn't the Wilder fight, but, you know, the action was good. But the undercard was lacking. Really was. Like, the undercard, I was surprised. It surprised me how flat the undercard was. I was really surprised that they put that for a Joshua fight, because I thought they tried to load up Joshua. You know what I'm saying? They really should have put, like, if that was going to be it, fucking at least put Amir Khan on it or something. It just was real light. Why? You said Oakley is horrible? I didn't even get this. I was at the store, but a lot of people said the fight was boring. You know, Matchroom stable is terrible. But see, this is the thing. Eddie Hearn was taking a lot of subliminal shots at PBC, but all the PBC fights that I covered, that's one thing I give it up to them. They have a better stable, so they'll put some shit on the, like, you could go see Leo Santa Cruz 2 versus Abner Mares, and then get Jermell Charlo, Austin Trout on the undercard. You know, at least guys you've heard of. Like, who was Lawrence Oakley fighting? Like, I seen this one dude fighting, and he had no ears. I'm like, who's this dark-skinned dude with no ears? Let me see if I can find him. Like, I didn't. Let me see if I can find a dude with no ears. Do y'all know who I'm talking about with the no ears? Do you? Hey, bruh. Who is this? I know Luke Campbell, the one that fought What's the name? Bro, who is it? Hold on. Hold on. Hey, who is this dude? Who the fuck is that? I thought it was Akon. Convict music. I thought this was Seal or some shit. Kiss from a row out the grave. Ooh, my power, my pleasure, my hey. Hey, who the fuck is this? Somebody said that's Nightcrawler. I'm done, bro. I thought it was Panthro from Thundercats. Who the fuck is he? Hey, bro, I don't know who that is. I thought that was Seal. Kiss from a row. Heidi Klum looking at. Kiss from a row out the grave. Ooh. He in shape though. Somebody said DMX. Oh my God. Y'all are crazy. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. That was the undercard. I don't even, like, who are these dudes? Oh my gosh. Baby. Do 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 do. Hold on. Ooh. I'm going to hell for that. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, that undercard. Yikes. Anyway, I'm out of here. The Vampire Stream. Salute to Ego's Army. You know, we just working. Putting in that good old-fashioned work. Yeah, man, AJ, I feel like he has to fight the winner of this fight, Wilder Fury, because that one's going down, man. Be there, be square, get the pay-per-view. You know, I might even, like, I feel good about that fight. I might even do some kind of sweepstakes. I don't know what, but maybe something. Peace out, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Vampire Stream. We just working, people.